that has made the news. George is another dog that is 100% accurate in finding surgically removed tumor hidden, wrapped up in gauze, okay, versus a piece of something else that doesn't have the smell. And Sheng Ling, who is not related to me, is another dog, okay, that's amazingly could detect lung and cancer tumors in the breath of cancer patients. This dog could smell the breath of cancer patients to the degree of like 80% accurate. So you can see that smell could tell a lot if you are trained like a dog. So Western medicine has now developed an electronic nose, okay, because these dogs are kind of rare, you have to train them. So now you can buy an electronic nose, and the electronic nose, quote unquote, is an instrument that has, many, in this case, 32, different, sensors, and it could actually give a reading that would tell whether a person has, the urine of patients with myotonic dystrophy, limb girdle dystrophy, distal muscular atrophy, and so forth and so forth. It doesn't look like a nose, this is an instrument, but they give it this nickname, the electronic nose. So, again, now we understand that smell is actually a very powerful diagnostic tool as well. So, getting back to pattern differentiation, okay? So, a Chinese doctor would play this game, okay? So, they look at the patient, smell them, talk to them, pose diagnosis, touch them, and all this, okay? And then, fit this patient into a pattern, okay? A pattern. So how do you fit them in the pattern? So first, the doctor would say, all right, in this case, is there something wrong with the yin organs or the yang organs? Okay. So let's say something wrong with the yin organs. Yang organs is okay. In fact, there's something wrong with the kidney. Okay. So then you say the kidney. Is it a yin problem or a yang problem? Well, let's say it's a yang problem. So the yang problem is not enough yang or too much yang. In this case, not enough yang. So you say this patient suffers from kidney yang deficiency problem, as opposed to somebody else who might have gallbladder, yin excess, and so forth. So you get fit into that problem, and then there are standardized prescription of herbs to take to reverse this problem. Okay? So Western medicine is now looking at that in a way perhaps only the Chinese people could do, because this is a really expensive proposition. What I'm going to tell you was done at the Institute of Integrated Traditional Chinese Medicine and Western Medicine at the Huashan Yiyuan, Fudan University in Shanghai. And Professor Shen is a member of the prestigious Chinese Academy of Sciences. So, in this case, okay, they found, okay, a whole group of patients diagnosed with kidney yang deficiency. Okay, Chinese doctors said, these people all have kidney yang deficiency. But wait a minute, the Western doctor said, no way. Okay, these six groups of people are suffering from very different problems. Okay, like what? Okay, some of them seem to suffer from sexual dysfunction. Some of them have lower immunity. Some are just getting old. Some are under mental stress. But they all seem to be suffering from different problems. Why are the Chinese doctors classifying them all together as kidney yang deficiency? But never mind, okay? Let the Chinese doctors give them a kidney yang deficiency herbal medicine formula and see if they get well, okay? So, this is the part that's pretty expensive, okay? So, they look at gene expression in these 6 groups of people, okay, using DNA chips, okay? DNA chips are almost $1,000 US each, so we can't afford to do it in the United States, but they can, okay? So, the DNA chips could tell the scientists which of every single gene in the body is expressing at the normal rate, or overexpression, or underexpression. Look at everything, okay? So, remarkably, all the people from 6 groups show down regulation, okay? Too little expression of this, and these genes, okay? These genes not expressed enough, and these genes not enough. These genes are overexpressed, too much expression, okay? These are expressing too much, these are not enough. You can actually get a global picture of gene expressions in all of these people. Okay, never mind, give them the herb, okay, formula for treating kidney yang deficiency. Look at this. All the genes that were underexpressed are now coming back up. All the ones that are down are now back up. Down, up. The ones that are too much, they get turned down, okay? The ones that are too much, they get turned down. So it really does the job. But now we know more. We know these genes, okay, with these abbreviations, we know what they are. So what happens is, these 6 groups of people, okay, the first group is under a lot of mental stress, other one is like kidney problems and aging and so forth. Now you take a step back and see, well, these people are linked by a problem in Western medicine called the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal disorder. So, like for instance, if you're under stress, okay, your brain can sense stress, sends a signal to the pituitary sends hormones to the kidneys, the adrenal gland will secrete cortisol, adrenaline, all this. So that's actually a physiological link. These 6 groups of people are all affected one way or another, okay, along this so-called HPA axis. And the gene expressions is now telling us that, okay, that's what's wrong. And the herbal medicine actually corrected all of this. So this is a scientific validation of, so-called, pattern recognition down at the genetic molecular level, and that these herbal drugs really do work. Another area where great advances are made in terms of using Western medicine to study Eastern medicine is acupuncture. We had 2 hours of lecture on that, last month. So I'm not going to spend any time, but just to summarize very quickly how much we know. Okay, acupuncture could affect nerve function, affect the brain. Brain could secrete endorphins. Endorphins could lead to pain relief, cardiac function, relieving high blood pressure. Acupuncture could affect nitric oxide, improving blood flow. Acupuncture could affect connective tissue that affects like fibroblasts, mast cells, and they secrete, hormones that will lead to anti-inflammatory response, pain relief response. And at this international meeting that I was just at Harvard Medical School, they showed that acupuncture also affects gene expression. See, when you go to the acupuncturist, you get the needle there. Yeah, if your hand is like, painful, yeah, the pain will go away right there. That's easy to explain by nitric oxide has the blood flow carries, lactic acid away and you feel better. But it does not explain how, if you have high blood pressure, you put the needle there, your blood pressure comes down for the next month, okay? So clearly it's not a simple nerve action. What is affecting is gene expression. Or more importantly, again, it's done in China, they're using gene chip to show that epigenetics is affected. The gene expression, the histones are stellated, and it affects how much those genes are expressed for the next month, okay? So this is the big picture here, and a quick update of this I didn't talk about last time, and I heard about this a couple of weeks ago at Harvard. Qigong, again, I spent 2 hours on Qigong early in the series. I'm not going to talk much about that. Except to just summarize, okay. Of course, Qigong, Tai Chi, 三条 integrated regulation of the mind, breathing, and body, okay. And I showed you all the research already on how when you regulate your mind, you have deep rest, but also mental focus. You regulate your breathing. You relieve stress, you improve blood flow, and when you regulate your body, of course, bone, tendon, connective tissue, muscles, they all get, improved state, and the benefits are like, prevention of falls, cholesterol going down, inflammation goes down, pain goes down, improved cardiovascular health. And strength is improved, and you sleep better. No need to spend any more time on that. But perhaps one thing I want to spend a little bit more time on, I didn't get to talk about this, is that, in Chinese medicine, doctors talk a lot about qi and enhancing therapies. That, again, pattern recognition, your qi is deficient or imbalanced, you have to practice more qigong, take herbal medicine, get acupuncture, get massage and so forth. They talk about qi, okay, improve your qi capacity and the balance of the qi, okay. So, what is this qi, okay? So, when we use Western medical methods to study Eastern medicine, this question of what is qi is a big barrier to research, because qi is not a scientific term. Qi is an ancient term from thousands of years ago. It has no scientific definition. So we cannot go and buy a qi meter and measure people and so forth. So how do we proceed? So, the 2,000-year-old Yellow Emperor's medical classic, Huangdi Neijing, says, blood is the mother of qi, 血为气之母, specifying a very close relationship between blood and qi. Well, we can't really measure blood, but we could measure, we cannot measure qi, but we can certainly measure blood. But how about qi? Well, qi is some kind of energy. Well, in modern physics, we say, well, energy is light, electricity, okay, magnetism, heat, okay, that's different types of energy. So in our laboratory, we measure electricity, okay, and light. and heat, okay? And we're not calling these things qi, but maybe there are surrogate markers for this ancient concept of qi. So the question we want to ask is, if you practice Tai Chi and Qigong, will that enhance the flow of blood in your body and also enhance the flow of electricity in your body? Okay? Because here, there's ancient sayings as blood is the mother of qi. So can blood flow go up? And don't know about this, but electrical flow go up? So we have technologies to allow us to measure simultaneously the flow of blood using laser Doppler and the flow of electricity, okay, using what's very technical, measuring what's called post-polarization conductance deep in the tissue, okay, from one acupuncture point to another. So you can see here something I didn't have time to show you, in previous lectures. So you see this student of mine is doing this simple Tai Chi exercise called 禅师运动, silk reeling. Okay, it's this very simple movement like this. Okay, so we put a probe on the hand to measure the flow of blood at this point, at the Laogong acupuncture point, and a probe on the finger here on lung acupuncture point number 11 on the lung meridian. And what we see is that when the hand comes down, okay, blood flow goes up. Electrical flow also goes up. And when we stack the recordings together, these peaks and valleys are in register. And this is no accident. So here, from here to here, the student is doing this at 4 times a minute. So we get 4 peaks per minute in the blood flow and 4 peaks per minute in the electrical flow. Then she doubles the rate. She does it at 8 times. Okay, 8 times you see the peaks are now bunched up together. Now it's 8 times per minute. And the electrical flow is 8 times. So they really, are coordinated changes. So the explanation that we come up with is that in terms of the blood flow, your heart is here. So when the hand comes down, blood flow is drawn downwards by gravity. So the heart pumping the blood, has an easier time pumping the blood down. When the hand comes back up, okay, the heart is here. The heart has to work against gravity to get the blood up here. So, blood flow is faster, slower, faster, slower. It's like a gravity effect. And when you do this like 6 times a minute, 8 times a minute, you get the number of peaks. Okay? And the interesting thing is that the electrical peaks are exactly the same. But then, just to prove that point, okay, there's nothing magical about doing Tai Chi, okay? So we put the student on an inversion exercise bed. She's not doing any exercise, she's just relaxing. Her hand is just here. This student is rocking her up and down and up and down, okay? So you see here, when he rocks her up and down at 4 times a minute, okay, you see these peaks 4 times a minute. Then he rocks her like 8 times a minute. Oh, she's not doing anything. It's just the blood getting up and down because of gravity. There's nothing to do with Tai Chi or not Tai Chi. It's the blood flowing, in this case, induced completely by gravity. And you can see the electrical flow is like 4 times a minute. Now it's 8 times a minute. So we solved the mystery that that when you go up and down, okay, you create these waves of increased blood flow and increased energy flow measured as electricity. then you look back and see, wow, in Tai Chi, all the exercises are up and down. Nobody does this. Okay, it's always like down and up and down, and Qigong up and down, up and down. It's always up and down. Okay, it creates these waves. You never do Tai Chi, like Mahjong. Okay, doesn't do you any good. So from there, we go on and look at not just Qigong and Tai Chi. We look at other types of Chinese medical therapies, like heat treatment using infrared light, massage, therapeutic massage that you learned last time and you learned a little bit more today. Topical herbal medicine, we'll talk about that later, and acupuncture. All of these could increase blood flow very, very well, measured the same way. And they would increase, electrical flow and electrical field and, energy measures, light and so forth. So that seems like a commonality to all of these things. All of these therapies, including Tai Chi, Qigong, they improve blood flow, and along the way, they improve electrical flow. And this you saw before, but maybe not in this context. We said, what good is it to improve electrical flow? So we measure cells grown on a plate and put an electrical flow using a battery to create an electrical field to the cells. And we can see that the cells, move quicker when they are in an electrical field. And if we decrease the field, they move less so and less so. So it's like a dose-dependent stimulation of cellular movement. And that's pretty important for all sorts of things, particularly in